Hi, I'm Richard Schlesinger. Welcome to First Look for today. On this evening's Evening News, we have a story that was strange to do for me. It involves my good colleague here, Dr. Jon LaPook, the CBS News chief medical correspondent.
And only medical correspondent. I'm also
a medical correspondent who turns out has a father who made a little history 63 years ago, around the time of D-Day. Not in the way you might think, though. This is a story unlike any other story you've seen about D-Day. John's father was a medic during the war.
He was a dentist who was serving as a medic.
John's father was a dentist who was
but go
serving
ahead.
as
I
a
don't
medic.
want to correct you.
And ended up in a small French village called Bati,
Right, Bati.
population 300, where he helped all the people and at least one, how shall we put it, non-human resident. What did he do, John?
Remember, this is, the greatest generation. This is a generation who, when they scored a touchdown, they flipped the ball to the ump, they jogged over to the bench, and they sat down. There was no dancing in the end zone. And so I actually, heard this story just briefly. My father didn't talk a lot about World War II for many, many years until Brokaw's book came out, The Greatest Generation. Then the floodgates started opening. I took him back to Utah Beach for the first time in 2005, so it was the first time in 61 years since he had landed at Utah Beach in July of 1944. And we went back. It was very emotional. In 1944, in October, my father was stationed there, and he was staying at the mayor's house. And one day, the brother-in-law of the mayor comes in and says, "My cow has been hit by shrapnel."
His cow.
His cow. Cows are very important in Normandy and that whole area, symbols of fertility and life. And anyway, my father, who, by the way, had seen a lot of horrible things up until that point, and he was things that I had not even known about until the trip that I took him on and he told me about. So when he came into Bati, he was fried emotionally. And at this point, this person comes in and says, "My cow's been hit by shrapnel," and he says, "Okay, where's the cow?"
And he dealt with the cow. It may sound a little silly, but you have to remember this was in the middle of a war. Horrible things were going on. You'll hear a little bit about that this evening. And this was a little sort of burst of humanity in the midst of this really hideous experience that the elder Dr. LaPook had. You'll hear him talk about it. He's very eloquent, if I may say so, about your
and
father.
Handsome, I should say, also.
You may.
I'm a little
and it's a very touching, very remarkable story, unlike any other war story you've ever heard. And so we hope that you'll tune in and watch it tonight on the CBS Evening News with Katie Couric.
See you later.